Once upon a time, I had a normal life. Back then, I would wake up and get ready for school. My mom would be up, maybe reading through magazines or doing her nails, or even sometimes cleaning the house if it was really messy. She never helped me with breakfast. Mom seemed to get that I wanted to be a model, and she remembered her own experiences growing up. So when I refused to eat breakfast, she didn't force me to change my mind. She didn't really encourage me in any modeling pursuits either, which I thought was weird, until my best frenemy, Amory, told me that Mom probably didn't like how I was getting prettier while she only was getting older. Amory probably had a point, but then she followed it up with, "I imagine I would do the same if I was worried about you getting prettier than me. Just kidding, of course." And then she laughed, and the rest of our group of friends joined in, so I painfully muffled out a chuckle or two, and then changed the subject. That's another story I'd like to forget, too, especially since that kind of thing still happened from time to time. Thanks to his job, Dad was usually at work, but if he was home, he would sit with Mom at the table just off the kitchen. Mom didn't like sitting in the living room. She sometimes complained how small our house was. Dad would do his best to make her laugh, and he had about a 50-50 rate of success. I hated his jokes, especially the ones that were along the lines of, "At least our house is so small we don't have to worry about Kallie having a party here." But it made Mom smile, so I rarely bickered back. And it went by quickly. After that, they would often exchange silent glances that ranged to playful, to bitter, to strangely cryptic. Still, they seemed happy, or at least happy enough, so I didn't think anything about it. I had other things to worry about. Which camera filters made me look more angelic and authentic, where my homework was, what Amory and my other friends were up to this week, that sort of thing. And then Mom left us, and Dad and I had to get used to a new normal. I hated that expression, new normal. It didn't allow for any possible correction, and it just assumed that this was the way things were going to be from now on. I felt as though I'd been pushed off a cliff I hadn't even seen, and now I was falling and flailing, and there was nothing left to do but wait for rock bottom. But then it turned out I hit rock bottom and went crashing through it to something even worse. "You owe me for this, Kate." I was walking into the kitchen just as I heard my grandmother, Abuela-Blanca, talking on her phone, although hissing might have been a better term to describe the verbal venom barely contained inside her clenched jaws. I could feel the anger radiating from her small frame as I passed. She took one look at me and then promptly turned away. From that, I got the feeling A.B. was probably talking to one of her contacts. She had a few I knew of, despite all her secrecy. She'd talked to another K.P. on the phone before, when we'd been driving home from my complete failure of an audition for the Model Middle America show before. Was that the Kate she was talking to? I decided I didn't really care, but I still listened in on her conversation as best I could as I took my newest jar of juice cleanse out of the refrigerator. "You know you owe me. You wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for me. That's why you took my coal. Don't be a fool." A.B. tapped her foot on the floor, clearly irritated. "But then I suppose that's a bit like asking a leopard to change its spots, isn't it?" I snickered into my cup, trying to keep quiet. A.B. heard me anyway and headed back down the hall toward the door to her basement room. I just sat there, reluctantly amused. There were days I would give anything in the world to have the old new normal instead of the one I had to face now, and A.B. was the worst kind of reminder of my plight. But I had to give her props. She had a real skill when it came to insulting people, and as a high schooler, I could appreciate that.